Alright, so we got ourselves a chapter here today. Not really heavy on the exposition, but heavy on the battle sequences, which is nice. I'm not saying every chapter has to be like that, but I don't really want to have to put on my Togashi hat every single time I'm going to read one of these chapters. But on the first page here, we're getting the lyrics to Admiring You, which is the theme song for Private Pure Love Train. This is like the song that plays when Hikari hits his jackpot. And maybe the lyrics are giving us some insight into how this is going to play out in the end. I really don't care that much because these lyrics are like so Japanese that I can't really get into it. But speaking of the jackpot, Hikari got that in the previous chapter when he hit 666s against Kashimo, and that gave him the infinite cursed energy boost that we've come to love from Hikari, and that brings us to this chapter where he's still riding off of the jackpot. And the opening sequence here is like them running around the shipping yard and eventually punching one of these shipping crates at each other, like it's like ping pong or something. And as Hikari is like finally going to completely punch through it in an attempt to hit Kashimo, Kashimo jumps over him and hits him in the face with one of the doors, taking off his skin completely. Now, normally this would be a pretty big deal, but you know, since Hikari is riding off of the jackpot, he has perpetual reverse curse technique, which means he'll just instantly regenerate from this. But during this sequence, Kashimo says that cursed energy comes from the gut, but you have to use your head to direct reverse curse technique. And that's pretty interesting because we heard someone else say that before, and it was our boy Todo, who we haven't seen in a while. Back when he was originally fight coaching Yuji, I think in chapter 37, Todo says that most sorcerers have to consciously make cursed energy flow. Like when you feel anger in your belly or a bad gut feeling, cursed energy nurtured on negativity is said to start from the belly and flow throughout the body, starting from the belly through the chest, the shoulders, arms, and to the fists. That is how cursed energy flows. But then going further, he says the flow of energy for an elite sorcerer is difficult to read. Do we think with our stomach? Do we use our minds to express rage? We exist in this world with our entire body, mind, and soul. So this could be coming full circle with Kashimo bringing this up here. Hey guys, also if you like my Jujutsu Kaisen content, please subscribe if you haven't already. It's fine if you don't want to, but if you just need a reminder, here you go. Thanks. But then after that, Kashimo says no matter how powerful his reverse curse technique is, if I crush his head with a single blow, he'll die. So I'll use my lightning to target his head and split it open. Now that's interesting as well. And I brought this up back when we originally got the explanation on how Hikari's infinite cursed energy worked. And it said that Hikari is unkillable for 4 minutes and 11 seconds immediately after a jackpot. And that made me think, like, is he literally unkillable? Like, if you blow off his head, will it come back? And I guess Kashimo is confirming here that that is not the case, or is this like just conjecture from him? Because if Hikari can die while in a jackpot from his head being taken off, then that directly conflicts with him being unkillable. But regardless, this, you know, raises the stakes for Hikari because they were essentially non-existent if he was literally unkillable while he's in his jackpot. Because in the previous chapter, after Hikari activated his jackpot, Kashimo was like, you may be unkillable, but I'll kill you anyway. And I was thinking like, okay, so how's he gonna do that? And then immediately following this, Kashimo shoots one of his lightning bolts at Hikari's head. And as it hits Hikari, it seems like even his curse technique here is acknowledging that he's going to die. But then before his head explodes, he expels the lightning / cursed energy out of his nose, and at the same time his reverse curse technique is like healing whatever kind of damage he took from that. And Hikari says, I almost died there, Kashimo. So yeah, I guess that settles it. And then it says the time remaining in the round, 8 seconds. So that's a little strange. That was a really fast 4 minutes and 11 seconds. I mean, granted, not all of the time is accounted for, especially because in the previous chapter, after Hikari hit the jackpot, went into that flashback sequence to end the chapter. So I guess the flashback time and us coming into the whole race around the shipping containers accounts for like 4 minutes and 3 seconds. And it's understandable. You know, Gege kind of needs to get to the point in this chapter. We don't need this 4 minutes and 11 seconds to be as long as they would be in like Hunter x Hunter or One Piece. But after Hikari successfully survives that lightning to the head, he starts attacking Kashimo again, and he says there must be a trick to that attack, which means Kashimo can't use it again right away. So I'll go hard and heavy. I'm unkillable, so I can cut loose. Really need a new way to describe that. Maybe say like I'm nearly unkillable or something. But then Kashimo says, as for accumulating electrical charge, you're not the only one, Hikari. Then we see his staff on the other side of the shipping yard, which I don't think he's used so far, and it's possibly for this purpose. It turns out that he can transfer a positive charge to the staff, just like he would to a person, because that's the original explanation that we got on how Kashimo's ability is working, with him rendering the lightning bolt. When it said that Kashimo separates his cursed energy charges like electricity. When striking an opponent, a positive charge is transferred, and the negative charge in Kashimo is discharged to the target without losing any electricity towards the ground. This results in lightning that rends the air and can't miss. So now that the staff has been loaded up like Hikari was previously, now Kashimo can activate the lightning strike but on the staff. But in this moment, Hikari is in the path of Kashimo and the staff, so the lightning bolt travels through Hikari's abdomen and takes a huge chunk out of it. And it was right at the moment that Hikari's round ended, meaning the jackpot was over and he no longer has infinite cursed energy along with perpetual reverse curse technique. And then Kashimo looks through the gaping wound and says it's over, but then immediately Hikari activates his domain expansion. And that's where the chapter ends. So this is awesome. I was talking about this in the spoilers earlier this week, about how there's only like a few realistic ways that Hikari could get out of this situation, aside from being saved or just on the fly learning reverse curse technique, which it was stated that he cannot perform without the jackpot. He'd have to go immediately into his domain expansion again and hope to get the jackpot so that he can heal himself. And it turns out that he's doing that. And very fitting for the name of the domain expansion, Idle Death Gamble, because that's quite literally what is happening here. So like, what is going to happen after this? Is Hikari going to hit the jackpot immediately? Well, without some good old-fashioned luck, it's unlikely, I'll say, because it was explicitly pointed out in the previous chapter that because Hikari hit his last jackpot with even numbers, triple sixes, that means he won't open up his next domain expansion with increased probability like he did coming into the previous chapter, because when he hit his initial jackpot against Charles, it was triple threes, which were odd, and that gave him increased probability into his domain expansion against Kashimo. But now he doesn't have that, so his back's really against the wall here, and I'm assuming there's going to be some crazy trickery going on that allows Hikari to survive this fight, possibly. Now, like I said, there's still the other options out there of Hikari just learning reverse curse technique on the fly. Maybe he could be like, well, you know, I've done it so many times subconsciously through my jackpot ability that I just figured out how to do it now. Or someone comes to save him, such as a Kotsu, or maybe this is when Maki shows up, or he hits the jackpot again, but maybe it's a different jackpot ability this time. Instead of the infinite cursed energy, it's some other crazy effect that heals him or saves his life here or something like that. Or Kari dies. I hope not. That would really suck, but can't hold it against Gege. He has killed off other likable characters before when we kind of least expected it, I guess. But let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, and if you like the video, guys, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.